welcome. Welcome to a bit off the top of news presentation. We are very glad to welcome you. We really appreciate that you came out in this very nice Montreal winter weather. And thank you for making the trip. Tonight, you're going to be hearing from a lot of wonderful people. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about the journey that was to get to this point. So, some smart, forward-thinking people got together and decided that it was time to think to get to a place where we would be ahead of what we saw was a trend coming, which was more of a critical mass of young people sort of feeling disconnected. And we set out on a mission to try to figure out what it would take for young people, young Jewish to reconnect to their Judaism in a way that was meaningful, more meaningful to them in today's age of 24/7 perpetual real-time connectivity. And we've done a lot of tests over the last few years. We've had a lot of fun, and we've learned a lot of things. And then we were lucky to partner the Bronfman Family Foundation through Gen J at Federation CJA, the ROI community, led by the Schusterman Family Foundation, conceived of this really interesting project to give 30 young new media entrepreneurs, social thinkers, designers, executives, the opportunity to come together and to play for 3 days in a space where they could think freely, in a space where they could challenge their thoughts, in a space that they could imagine what a future might be like. I'm very fortunate, I feel very honored, and you'll get to meet all the participants as they come up and make their presentations, but I feel very honored to be in the presence of such smart, forward-thinking people, creatives, who had the opportunity for the last 72 hours to go through this wild, crazy ride of no sleep. I'd like to give you a little bit of a view into what we've been doing for the last couple of days with a little video ending last night. Wow, I didn't know we had so much fun. That was awesome. Jimmy Medellin on video. Thank you very much. So, like to welcome the people from the ROI community watching us across the world right now. We're live streaming. Hello. The ROI community is a group of about 800 young professionals, young adults from around the world, of which I have been graciously invited to be part of. We are people who are trying to innovate the future, to do really cool stuff and get other people excited about our mission. I, along with a few people, were chosen to pilot new ventures with them to see if they could test ways to get people across the world doing really innovative stuff. We're learning a lot from our gathering from the last few days, and this maybe will serve as some kind of model for future get-togethers of really excitable and amazing people. So thank you, ROI community, watching us. We hope you enjoy what we're about to do. So this is an opportunity about the future. We're talking about giving up grants. We're talking about making new things happen, risking. Tonight you might hear a few swear words. It's not PG. And you might hear some really fun stuff that's happening. We want to encourage people in the community who have new kinds of ideas, new ways of interpreting Jewish, maybe old ways, but quieter ways that they would like to have heard a little bit more loudly, to come and be part of whatever it is we're doing. I'd like to welcome anybody who wants to come to my office. It's at the Federation CJA building in Montreal. You can Google me, you can Google new, you can Google the mood, you can Google a bit off the top, that thing over there, bitoffthetop.com. And we've just launched a microgrants campaign. For $2,000, we will help anybody pilot an idea that they want to experiment. What is the Jewish that is relevant to you? I'd just like to also give a shout out to some of the people who are here that have made this possible. People from the Jewish Community Foundation's Culture Grants, and also the Gen J Promise Grants from Federation CJA, represented by Sarah Tobin and Dean Mendel, who are here. And also, we would like to do a bit of a shout out about C2 Montreal. C2-MTL, I believe. Am I correct? Yeah. If you Googled C2 Montreal, you would see that it's one of the most awesome people. And the Bronfman Family Foundation in Montreal has made 25 grants available for leading Quebec entrepreneurs to take part in this thing. It's impossible to get tickets. And when I say impossible, Jews like to exaggerate. It's impossible. You cannot get tickets. The only way to get tickets now is if you qualify. So please apply. I think there's about a few weeks left to get an application in. April 12th. So C2-MTL, 25 Quebec entrepreneurs are being granted the opportunity to go to this thing. So one more thank you. I'd like to thank all the participants who put themselves out there, risked with all of us. You guys are wonderful and amazing and insane. And to all the team that sort of quietly put this all together. Those ladies over there, Suzanne and Talia, very key in putting all this stuff together. If you liked the slideshow that was playing earlier, I didn't want an event photographer. I wanted a person who had artful eye and taste, who loves his craft. So Leslie Schachter, a journalist in the Nashville, photo journalist. If this thing goes off well and you like what's happening, if you ever want to run a game show, you can't call him because he doesn't want to do it professionally. He just loves to do it. Aaron Stambouli in the back loves to do game shows. Saved us today with technology. I know it's a long shout out, but it's important to understand where we're coming from. I love this space. I come here as much as I can. This is a space that is forget the space, it's the people who run this place. Emmanuel Amar and Mandy Ben-Walid, who have been just with us on so many of our adventures. Do you want to have a wedding here? A bar mitzvah? You want to have an after party? That guy can do anything standing in the back there, Emmanuel Amar. And Mandy. Anticlimactic clapping? Okay. All right. My coach from ROI, Beth Glick, who is here somewhere. Thank you for helping me put this all together. The envoys from ROI, Marcus Fries and Jen Keys, who are here. Various friends from Federation CJA and Siegel Center. So thank you all for being here. So, one person helped me put this whole thing together. She's an amazing person coming from New York. I met her a few months ago. She helps people who are looking to vision the future, solve problems in a very forward kind of way, very innovative. She holds gatherings of people who hack the future. Basically, they try to create disruptions. A friend of mine uses that word, and I like it a lot. They try to disrupt the way things are thought of in usual patterns, and they try to find creative solutions by getting together and doing this like sprint together and being very risk-taking. So if anything is amazing out of this, if the products come out and this is a fun thing, and you want to try this with your organization, you should check out storycode.org and Ina Abiodun. All right, she's awesome. Okay, so, all right, the team. Oh, and my wife, who let me be here for so many days, who's not here, who's with our children. So, the rules. This is the game. We are putting up $10,000 to seed a great idea here tonight, where you are going to help us to determine this with a little bit of technology and a little bit of chutzpah, and it'll be a lot of fun. So the process is this. The participants were asked to pick one of three projects. One was invent a completely new technology that would be a way to engage young people, or layer on some kind of platform that already exists, some kind of solution to a challenge to connect again young millennials in some relevant way, or to go completely offline and create an experience that spoke to the millennial generation that was looking to figure out how to connect Jewishly. So I think we've done that. We've come across the whole spectrum. We're going to bring them up one team at a time. There are 9 teams. They will present to you for 5 minutes. The judges, who are amazing people you'll meet in just 1 second, will help us by refining the process. They are going to eliminate, or they're going to raise up to the top 3 teams, and they will go and deliberate for a little while. They'll come back, and then you will have the top 3 teams left. You'll need your smartphones, which don't have to be so smart. You don't need the computer and all that stuff. You just need to be able to dial a phone number and text. The text number will pop up on the screen. We will ask you to pick your top 3. Of the top 3, we'll ask you to pick your favorite. We'll tabulate the votes. You can vote 75 times. We're going to put it into an Excel. We're going to eliminate all the phone numbers that were duplicated, so you can't vote for your daughter 600 times. So the winning formula will be something that is hopefully relevant and useful for the Jewish community. But the idea here is, if you hear something you like and it doesn't win, it doesn't mean it's dead. It means it's time for you to follow up with them or have asked them to be part of something that you're doing. And that's the idea here. We're trying to build community and community vision all together. So the judges who took my invitation very seriously, and I very much appreciate it. So I'm going to start from the end. My friend Naeem Adam, who is the founder of the Méchant Mangel blog. It's one of the most popular hockey blogs in probably the world. And he's also an entrepreneur. He founded Burger Week and Poutine Week, and he's a social media maven. He's awesome. So thank you for being here. Amy Friedman, who co-facilitated with me, as you saw in the video, for a few days. Amy is a guru in television production. She's launched global networks. Currently, she serves as the senior advisor at MTV Scratch. Scratch is probably the leading organization on the planet who understands millennials. It's been doing millennial research for 15 years, and as it was put to me, the top person in that field. So thank you for being with us. Claudine Bronfman, former executive marketing, like Molson, yes. No, I was going to say somebody who's allowed this to happen, philanthropist involved in environmental movements, organizations, involved with the Jewish community very strongly, has, with her husband Stephen, have really let something loose out of a cannon, me, crazy, I don't know what they're thinking, but have allowed us to play, and really like what's going on here as well. There's a thank you up to Claudine, so thank you very much. I talk a lot, right? Okay, almost done. Dean Mandel, somebody I would call a friend that I'm getting to know. Dean is involved, he's a successful entrepreneur. He's built a real estate company, real estate development company, and he works very much in the community as a volunteer. He's on the Federation CJ Executive Committee, and he's also the co-chair of a granting body that has now merged, the Jewish Community Cultural Grants Committee and the Gen J Promise Grants Committee. These two bodies have given out over the last 3 years about $1 million together to informal education projects, cultural projects, arts projects for forward thinking. I keep saying forward, but like new kinds of thinking to engage people in different ways in Jewish life. So thank you very much. And I'm embarrassed to say, but I totally am a sci-fi geek. And Megan Rath is in Being Human, she's the co-star of Being Human on Space and Sci-Fi and all these cool channels. And so when I had the opportunity to invite her, I thought, I'm going to get an autograph. It's so cool. No. Thank you for being with us, Megan Rath from Montreal West. All right. So I thanked everybody, introduced everybody, and I guess now we can start. Let the games begin. So we'd like to call up the first team, which will be New Nosh. And maybe we can have a little bit of music
Yeah. I don't want to block the screen though. Okay. So here's the clicker. Amazing. I'm Sydney. This is Eileen and Kat, and we are the team that made New Nosh. Point at that guy. I remember that. Okay. So New Nosh is communal dinners for lovers of Jewish food. So I want to say that food tells us a story about our heritage and our identity. And Montreal has a diversity of Jewish cultures, and we want to draw on those cultures to engage young Jews. I work in the community, and I find that often the best way to do this is through food, and so that's why we're here today. I know that I personally feel most connected to my Jewish identity when I'm sitting around my table with my family eating gefilte fish and brisket. And this is a picture of me with my family celebrating Hanukkah and with family friends as we have every single year. And it's one of like the most important parts of my Jewish identity. And this is a picture of chicken soup with chicken feet. And it's my grandfather's chicken soup. I've never eaten chicken feet myself, but this is probably the most iconic image of what is Jewish identity. So basically for this project, we were inspired by the Jewish foodie movement that has taken hold in cities such as New York. We talked about the Myland Deli in Brooklyn, the Pop-Up Kebbe project in Manhattan, and Pizzeria in Brooklyn. And what these places do is they're trying to elevate Jewish food by making modern variations on the authentic dishes that we recognize from our home. And so we want to take that idea and bring it to Montreal where it doesn't really exist yet. So what we would be doing is creating a series of pop-up experiential and participatory Jewish dinners that would take place over 6 months. And each of these dinners would have a different theme that touches on food from the different Jewish communities in Montreal. We would also invite innovators in the Jewish food world to curate these dinners and Jewish artists to curate the eating experience. And we would want to create alongside this an interactive website that would serve as a hub for Jewish food stories, recipe sharing, and photographs. And we would like for this to become a model that could be redone in Montreal as well as in Jewish communities all around the world. So these are some of the gatherings that we'd like to create, just sort of a community dinners for people to come together and share Jewish food experiences. So some of the highlights of this is that each dinner would have a specific theme. For example, we can have a Shabbat stew evening with dishes such as cholent, Tafina, Hamid, and Tavit, which I'm sure everyone here has one of those things that they recognize from their own Jewish food culture. And there would also be a focus on food that is delicious, sustainable, and updated to fit the palate of the millennial Jew. And by sharing food heritage, we would want to create a monthly community of Jews from throughout Montreal. We would also be offering questions for them to search to the meals to prompt discussion that would add to the community, to add to the meal, and then also add to the online community that we would like to create. So we want to create an online hub for the space on our website, newnosh.com. So the website, newnosh.com, would have sort of the events that we would be able to hold, so you would know of all the upcoming dinners. We'd also be able to share the photographs from those dinners, and so you could see past dinners that happened and be able to read the recipes from those and understand what we had done. And there would also be an opportunity for Jews from Montreal and from anywhere else to share their own Jewish food stories, their recipes, their photographs, and their own Jewish food experiences. And it would also be integrated with other social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, so people could integrate new Nosh with the places on the internet that they already live. And what we would also be using is an app called Grub With Us, which is an app that allows strangers to come together to make friends through food. So we'd be using that app to bring people in who might not already be members of the Jewish community or might not know that this was happening otherwise. So the Jewish community in Montreal is working to find new ways to engage with young Jews, and with New Nosh we can meet them at the wobbly table they are sitting at. This is something that we are passionate about, and it's because it's something that we would want to take part in, and we are confident that other Jews in their 20s and 30s feel the same. Thank you.
And they still had a minute to go. So, judges.
Eileen, do you want to answer this because you've done stuff that is similar?
Yeah, I think you have to seed it with some influencers at first. Get the people in the community that are really social, invite them to come, invite them to invite their friends, post on their Facebook page, become a part of our Facebook group, tweet it, like us on YouTube, like us on Pinterest. And we're really also excited about Grub With Us because we can open up spots for people that just want to try something new and maybe weren't even planning on going to a Jewish dinner, but want to sign up to a dinner that has openings and they want to try new food. So that's an exciting way to get a totally different group of people involved with someone who might already be part of the Jewish experience.
I have a clarification question. Is this target to people that don't know each other, or it's friends that, because as you say, you have connectors that okay, I want to do it one dinner, so come and then we'll, and then you have all the friends together, and then they have the dinner. Mike, is that right?
Yeah, I think it can be a large dinner.
Well, we also want to get as many people within the Jewish community involved from like different segments of the community, so to bring them together.
So just a fast question. I understand the concept as it is, which is great because you try to modernize the dishes and all that. But what is the oomph that will make people like come and see it different experience than just the food, to make it a bigger experience than just the food itself?
Okay, I can add. So actually, one of the things that we mentioned and that is really, really important to us and that we didn't super flesh out is the idea that we really want this to be like an experiential, almost like an artistic experience. So we will be asking artists to contribute to the meals, and so that it'll be more than just eating, but also be about discussions. It'll be about sharing your food stories and about sort of being engaged in an artistic event as well, sort of a participatory theater event.
So we have time for one more quick question, if there is one. There doesn't have to be one, but.
I guess just a shout out that there's a nice mixture of sort of community building, togetherness, and also sort of that social media piece that I think has a lot of pieces to it, sharing recipes, sharing experiences, photographs, etc. So I love sort of the combination of the two together. So I think it has legs.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Maybe there's a music bed that I can dance to. Okay. We need a little musical interlude because I'm stalling for time. Something has to happen in between these things. No, I'm kidding. Okay. So the next group is called, well, I'll give you the name in just a second. It's headed, well, thanks. Those guys. Josh Burstein and Daniel Namias and my good friend and lovely friend from New York City who's awesome and I had a brain freeze because I'm like not sleeping for 72 hours. Naomi Les, thank you very much. She is a good friend. Thank you for bearing with us. Awesome. So we've never done this before, so we're live doing it. Thank you for your patience.
Be a man. You know what that means? I'm not sure. A man's a human being.
Be a mensch. Need I say more? We have a lot of mentions in the room right now, and what we are doing right now is updating the word mensch, bringing it back from the ancient, the nostalgic, the kitschy, Jack Lemmon, little shout out, right, to the meaningful and modern. Everybody here has a mensch model, not a role model, but a mensch model. Think about it. Think about it for a moment. Somebody in your life, dead or alive, family or famous, that to you embodies those qualities that you just saw. We are connecting the past and the present. Today, we are introducing the modern mensch. Now, millennials today, busy, independent, doing their thing. Some are activists, some are serving others, some are just doing good things in their lives, right? Many are good-hearted, some inwardly focused, some outwardly focused. The modern mensch takes to the street, involves their peers in activism, lifts their peers up, not necessarily only looking at what they're doing, right, and promoting themselves, but promotes their peers as well too. And they exist today already. Jews are doing menschy acts, often though without understanding the larger context of what they're doing. It's actually pretty deeply rooted into Judaism. Everyone can be a mensch. This is accessible to every single Jew in the Montreal community, whether they are affiliated or unaffiliated. This is a big tent. Everybody can opt in. Everybody can do something, whether on a personal level or on a communal level. No value judgment on your menschiness. So we're looking at people that are not necessarily actively Jewish, but are doing actively Jewish things, even though they don't know that those are actively Jewish things. And they're going to be able to identify with that Be a Mensch tag, right? And that we're going to also give this brand to organizations to utilize to activate their core, offering a brand package to run with, utilize for their work. So the Mensch movement, that is what we are talking about here. This is a mindset
But this is also about action, taking this into your life, a 360-degree evaluation of your business relationships, your personal relationships, how you are in your neighborhood and your community. We want you, as menches, to prop each other up, to tag your friends and call them a mensch on the Facebook page, or on your Twitter account, or Instagram, or Pinterest, or all the social networks that you have access to, that we can build from the bottom up, ramping up and organizing a grassroots movement that gives seamless sentiment that you can tie into your daily lives or weekly lives. And also top down, giving organizations a framework that they can utilize to both energize their core and also reach out to the new. This is inherently an open source movement. And the way that we're planning to engage folks is by launching some both particular strategies around savvy videos, both moving as you saw, as well as going for the kitsch factor as well too. The meaning of mensch models, and then leading folks to a landing page that will help them to identify ways that they can opt in. There are actions that they can take, from being naming their role models as mensch models, giving props to somebody else for doing menschy activities out there, creating the March of Mentions, right? That in March we have a month of just menschiness that's happening all over the Montreal community. And perhaps setting a community goal that if we tag enough people, that there's some reward for the community. Maybe Drake will come and perform a live concert for all the menches in Montreal, also giving Montreal exposure to the larger community and everybody looking at Montreal saying, what community is menches? We can do this in our community. We're using human capital, grassroots, tweeters, bloggers, everybody, and also organizational capital. This new and elevated sense of self can manifest across all platforms. Building up your network of menches, mensch bomb people on Instagram, active menschiness on Pinterest. And it starts right here, right now, with you. Think about somebody that you know in your life right now who is a mensch. Can you think of somebody?
Bear with us.
Text them and say, you're very fun. Text them and say, you are a mensch. And they're going to say, why? And imagine the conversation that will emerge from that meaningful moment. Join the mensch movement, and thank you for listening to our pitch.
Awesome. Okay. That was amazing. Thank you. Judges, 3 minutes.
So I'm just gonna say I love the word menschy. It's really cute. But so I just understand because so what you're doing is really pitching a word, and I'm just wondering why that needs funding. Because I mean it's very viral in the sense of Twitter and social media, but I guess really what you would need funding for is viral videos, which you could really maybe just do on your own. So tell me why.
I would say some of the infrastructure, especially with production value, is that when we're looking for a March of Mentions or some sort of major launch, this takes coordination across a lot of organizations and also to reach the hipster Jews and everyone at that base level that doesn't have an initial connect. Every video, every piece of content we put out has to be top-notch right out the gate, or it's not going to get that traction.
Excellent question. Thank you. Thanks, Anthony.
Often, I think that you're combining a whole bunch of really interesting pieces that speak to repairing the world, promoting peers, I guess starting a conversation. And I think that it can go pretty far in terms of infiltrating different groups that kind of cool to talk about how cool the various things are that they're up to. And I think that it has the potential to spread very quickly. You have a very big idea. Stay, within a group, but it could potentially infiltrate really throughout. Very cool.
Time for one more comment.
This is so yeah, I love it. I think it's really cool. It kind of reminds me a little bit about
growing mustaches. Like attaching that to the cancer thing might be a big thing for November. Because there's an act that you do that is great right away immediately. Not just calling someone a word that means something, but actually doing something official. Maybe attaching yourself to where someone can do right away, whether it's going to, I think, have a lot more legs. And just a comment, I think the word viral. You can never create anything that goes viral. $2 million right now, and you won't create something viral.
You'll give us $1 million.
But yeah,
we're giving away 1,010,000.
Yeah. It's about being shareable, and I think that's what you're trying to reach to, is trying to create this brand identity that's shareable. And whenever you will my friendship, will sister share, that's how things become. So just comment based on.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So while we wait for the next group, I don't know if you noticed on your seats, there's a bunch of really interesting. There's a lot of money up for grabs for arts and culture and informal education. So actually, I like music. You keep playing music while I'm talking. Okay, no, okay, that was nice. And so check it out. April the 12th is the deadline for lots and lots of money for culture and art and informal education. Cool stuff. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the next group. I'm ready for them. Brian Elliott, Robbie Hoffman, and Sharon Feder.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Brian Elliott, a technology strategist, and we've got Robbie Hoffman, a comedian extraordinaire in Montrealer. This is working. Sean, testing. Time. And we've got Sharon Feder, the Chief Operating Officer of Mashable.com. And we are Jew Camp. Look, guys, we understand that there's a problem. That's why we're all here today. The problem is that millennials are not engaging with community. They're not connected to institutions. And we need to do something about it. So let me ask you a question. If you could reimagine, do an extreme makeover of Judaism, what would you make? If you could do an extreme makeover of Judaism, what would you make it? I'll tell you what we decided. We would make it playful. We'd want it to be something that people could actually have fun and connect with. It'd be rejuvenating. We'd want it to be something where you could reflect and where you could understand yourself better. We'd want it to be inspiring. And most of all, we want it to be, this is a technology conference. We want it to be community building and really inclusive. Well, we have fantastic news. All these things already exist within the Jewish community. In fact, every year, young Jews go to Jew Camp. Jew Camp.
Can I interrupt? Ankle downwards to the back.
Downwards to the back.
Yeah.
They go to Jew Camp. But the thing is, it's only for kids. Until now. Ladies and gentlemen, we could not be more excited to introduce to you Jew Camp. What is it? It's fun! We want to have fun as Jews, and this is how we're going to do it. We're creating an immersive experience, an overnight experience that allows millennial Jews to focus on play, recreation, and connection. This is missing. A place to go and reflect and refresh and rejuvenate with people who are also Jewish. Why camp? There's two reasons. The first is that young millennials not only want Jew Camp, they need it. In this digital age, they're oversaturated with devices and social media. And what we know from research that we learned about this weekend is they want real-life experiences. They want connectivity with real people. They're in deep need of a digital detox. And I am going to be after this one as well. The second reason is that the opportunity with JuCamp is huge. So, by the way, they're getting this now by going on vacation. What if we could create the sense of community and excitement, but actually build a community on top of it? And that's what camp does. The opportunity is huge here. Did you know that young Jews that go to JuCamp are 30% more likely to donate to a Jewish charity? They're 45% more likely to come to Jewish events, and they're 55% more likely to have a connection with Israel. Guys, we are sitting on an absolute gold mine to create Jewish identity among millennial Jews. It's right in front of us. The first question that millennials ask each other when they meet is, oh, so where are you from? It's, where'd you go to JuCamp? I went to Golden Union Camp Institute. How about you? Osrui. This is our plan. We want to pilot a new JuCamp for millennials. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to pick 3 days. I'm going to point down. We're going to pick 3 days in the woods, in cabins, and we're going to pick 50 people. We're going to handpick our brand ambassadors, people who want JuCamp, who love JuCamp, and who want to share it after this pilot. And you can help us build that pilot tonight. We're going to leave on Friday. We're going to arrive on a bus. We're going to arrive on a bus. You're going to be in bunk 6. And you're going to be there with a friend, because if you're asked to be a part of this pilot, you can nominate a friend so you know somebody, but you're going to get to meet 50 amazing young Jews too. We're going to play games. We're going to sing Shabbat songs. Remember how we used to do that at camp? And we're going to have s'mores, obviously. We're going to make art. When is the last time you made art? You're going to kill it in color work, and yes, you're going to win. At least you think you are. You can meditate and find yourself. Oh, new rules at this camp, by the way. We'll be able to drink at camp because we're adults now. So the brass tacks. Here's the pilot, the details we want to share with you, what you can help us create tonight. It's by invitation only for starters. We want to get this pilot right. We're going to do it at the Hudson Redwood campsite in June, and we're going to charge $200 a person. Our budget, we need $26,000 to make this pilot happen. $10,000 for the campsite, some food and beverage, and we think this is the most it could possibly cost because, well, frankly, Robbie knows someone. So the $10,000 we get tonight will help us. Oh, stop. 30 seconds. Okay, we're going to get $10,000 from this, $10,000 from revenue, and we'll get we'll need to raise $6,000 to make it happen. The digital strategy will be used for recruitment and for after camp to keep people connected. But JuCamp is going to be all about putting the you back in JuCamp. This is just the beginning. We imagined so many different variants of this that we could do special interest camps once it's successful. We really believe that we could create a toolkit for many organizations and spread this all over the world. We think that we sit afoot of a new movement for millennials to connect and create community. And this will create a virtuous cycle because millennials who go to JuCamp will send their kids to JuCamp. Let's start something. Please come join us at JuCamp and let's make this happen. Come to JuCamp.
So, I know the first question on everybody's minds is, will Brian Elliott be the head counselor? So totally possible. Robbie Hoffman, not so sure. Okay, so...
In June, actually, the question about counselors. So tell us about your vision of who are the campers and who are the counselors.
So I think it's a little bit of each, right? I think that the counselors are the attendees as well. I think it's us giving our attendees special roles and allowing them to each influence each other and play a special, be a special person in their lives.
I'm going to go if the three of you is there. But knowing about the research about when you're very Jewish, for sure all of what you said I agree with, but being less or non-affiliated, I feel that now in a day we live in a society that is a bit mixed with Jewish meeting other people that are not Jewish, and that's how you're a melting pot and then you live some sort of experience and just Jew life, but still you're
more Jewish people. But I think there's several, we don't identify as strong Jews, but we love camp. One of the things we want to do as we envision this growing is by making this more specialized. So I might be more interested in going to camp to go meditate or to, do more outdoorsy things, but to do it with people in my industry. Or if I'm in a couple with an interfaith couple, who with other couples that we're actually appealing to more adult interests, but in a setting that's really reminiscent of nostalgic do. This is an adult networking aspect of you guys.
So we have time for one kind of quick question or comment.
So there's a little bit of isolation of news. Now, I see a lot of hype happening before because to actually, how do you engagement stop when they come back to the normal life, out of that meditation, and when they're back to their 9 to 5? What do you do? That's the point of it. How do you work that?
Absolutely, and I think we're really learning through this experience. This is the second event I've come to that is like this, and in being a part of the Facebook with the other kind of I found that we have created a strong community that we celebrate each other. We want to know what's happening. We find those moments to stay in touch. I think when you have counselors who can engage that community, keep it, it's that much more helpful.
I think it's
I think so. And it's very special. We can keep the conversation.
Thank you very much. So while we wait for some time, we're going to take a chance and do something crazy and off the cuff. Is there anybody who has a comment that they would like to make? One comment, that'll take any comment. Is it this? Anybody want to comment? The audience? Visit your chair. Oh, that was a hello. That's cool. That's a question. So maybe a lot of anything for extra credit. Okay, so next is review by Eric Geller. This is by the way, Eric Geller, Jake Greenbaum, Jake Greenbaum, that's possible. Yes, possible. All right, I want to just say hello to everybody that came. There's a fantastic pitch. All the judges, and then also like say hello to the millions of people watching around the world on YouTube. So. All right. In the past, as a Jew, what you were was easy to find and categorize. There we go. That's the past. Okay. If you were a conservative Jew, you went to a conservative synagogue, you congregate with conservative Jews. Same thing for Reform Jews, secular Jews. But in today's world, is that way of thinking classification relevant? All right, so pointed at the back is Aaron, right there. Yeah. No, you take next slide. All right. So our idea is called nudge. So nudge stands for Jews, right? We want to nudge those Jews from outside the inside by having an application that has what they care about, what they define themselves as. So here we have so many different facets, Jewish identity. People are not classified and categorized the way they used to be. It's a lot easier to move together. Now it's different. People define themselves in so many different ways. We're creating a database that connects people on what they care about right now, relevant to them, compared to this identity world. Stay up to date and connect what's happening Jewish.
is how it works. All right. You sign up. You upload a recent picture of yourself. You answer 20 questions. You, particular Judaism, general life. For example, do I go to synagogue? Did I go to Jewish school? Right? Do I have kids? Do I celebrate the holidays? From that point, there's three paths of connection. You can choose to connect to everyone in the network. You can choose to connect similar to your beliefs, or you can choose to connect to people that have the exact same ideals and beliefs that you do. Share your exact criteria. This is how you connect. All right. This is the standard of what we're doing. Okay. So here's the format. I upload a picture of myself. So I have a picture that pops up. Okay. You're gonna look at it. Look at the picture. You're not me. Someone's gonna look at the picture, and they're gonna say, it doesn't really interest what I want to connect to right now. You're gonna see the post. It doesn't really match, right? You're gonna look down. You're gonna look down at information, age, some likes, like this. I don't want to connect. What am I gonna do? I'm just gonna swipe it. Or click it. Now I'm going to read the next person I see very quickly, okay? I'm going to look at the picture. The next person I see, look at the post. I'm going to look at the picture. I'm going to look at the information. I'm going to say, okay, this person is someone that I potentially want to meet. I'm going to say, want to connect. What am I going to do? Want to connect and get to know. So what am I going to do? I'm going to get a nudge. Okay? I'm going to click this little nudge button. Now what happens? Okay? Now what happens? That I get a notification that I nudge. You can be able to see information about me, a little bit more information about me, and if you nudge me back. Now, if you nudge me back, then we connect, okay? So basically what happens, you nudge me back, so now, I see all of his information, all of my information, and I'm able to start asking questions, likes are, dislikes are. I know already from filling out my questionnaire that we have some very similar beliefs and values, okay? This is basically the way to meet and assimilate a lot of information from people very quickly. Okay? Speed dating for friends and network. We're creating a safe environment for their Jewish, their tools that are being led today by the millennial generation. The web is where we live. It's where we're meeting each other. It's where we're making a difference. We're trying to make it more relevant for Jews. Stay connected. Stay happy. Nudge each other. So, panel of judges.
So I loved your analogy to with the synagogue and the current, which is the online. In your heart of hearts, what do you think is most important about this idea? Is it the online connection? Is it the offline connection? Sort of, what's the most important part of this for you?
Well, I think it can be both. I mean, in terms of offline connection, let's say I'm a single mother and I want to find another single mother who knows a good mom and pop, group with a Jewish spirit about it. I could find somebody like that. So that's in terms of offline. Online, I mean, we love to creep on people. So we can keep looking, We love looking at people.
Yeah, so in terms of the online and offline situation, I find that I want to see people who I personally like and who I share similar likes to. I personally probably would have chosen Raphael because it's just my style. But that's neither here nor there. But she does have similar interests to mine. I work with ladies that work for Playboy, so it interests me. So
Exactly. He's not kidding.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. So anyways, it's important. I think it's another way of us engaging with each other through social networking and
also getting to know each other and who we are through the 140 characters that we get on Twitter, through all these things, and through 140 characters, trying to write an essay like that, it's way harder to write an essay with 140 characters than it is to write 1,000. So,
time for very quick comment or question. Maybe not a question. Very quick comment.
I love the creative part of it. I think that young people will fall sort of that quick, and being able to sort of have a bunch of experiences and personal time. That's where it goes. But very exciting idea.
Thank you very much.
Just to join, I think it's important. I think it's great. It's a great idea. Just keep in mind that I always go back to the less affiliated. What is going to make them go there? Because usually that's where, just as a fact, because it's a Jewish website, it's Jewish event. So I'm a bit stuck on that, but because our issues.
That's a very good question. I think the way that they would want to join, have to answer questions before they come on to us. Before they come to our platform, they need to fill out different answers and different questions. We're able to categorize that. I'm putting on their meeting people that have the same beliefs, same affiliation that they do.
just quickly to add to that, another huge important thing in our community is word of mouth, and I've learned that through my blog, and we're sharing things on Facebook and our own personal connections. The almost endless, and it's important to share things with everyone and use our connections through LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and all the above to grow.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Doug. Right, so things you wanted to know, like the PowerPoint clicker, when pointed at the computer, tends to push the slide forward. Andy, which button? Thank you. Okay, the arrow that says next. I looked at digital camp. Next. Shaboot. Okay, so just for all the participants, sorry for this ROI shout out. So if you are a participant and you want to use this clicker has a half-second delay. If you get excited, the clicker jams up because you've asked it to do too many things at one time. Thank you for helping us pilot the experience so that we can test it. Okay, so the next group is headed by Ryan Schwartz, Jennifer Cherniak, and Alyssa Liebner, and they are called Shaboot. Shaboot.
My microphone went deep. Okay, so we are Shaboot, as it says. So we are here to give you a timeout to let you relax. So no crazy visuals. We did have a 3D light show, but we decided to not go with it. And that, so let's show us. Moving forward. So the idea for Shaboot came out of a challenge, actually two challenges. The first one being a human problem, and the second one being something that we call the Shabbat paradox. Starting with the human problem, we are all aware of it. It's the hyperconnectivity. We are all on our smartphones, email, Facebook, Twitter, and the problem with that is the anxiety that comes with disconnecting. We feel that even if we take a brief escape from that we are going to be missing out. So there's a certain fear and anxiety. We are always on, and what's more than that, we've evolved to the point where we just feel like we need permission to let go. So that moves us to the Shabbat paradox. Shabbat is a beautiful holiday in its core and its essence, but there's also this certain rigidity to it, which tends to turn off people who are less affiliated with Judaism. You know, there's that traditional aspect of it where people feel they need to gather around a table, sit with their families, probably tweet because they're bored out of their minds. And we just don't think that it should be so rigid. We feel that, especially for millennials, it's important to allow them to co-create their experience and define it in their way. So out of this, we have the solution in a very bland slide. So we're introducing a Jewish solution to a human problem, also on a bland slide, because we really want to relax and set a calm tone. We are stripping down Shabbat and allowing millennials and users of all ages to co-create their experience and, in essence, have a more inclusive version of it. Using this redefined version of Shabbat, we will allow these people to connect to a greater community, giving them social approval and permission to just chill out, whatever it is they're doing. So, introducing on a bland slide. I promise the next one won't be so bland. Beautiful. Shaboot. Okay, so what Shaboot is a mobile app which is going to spark a powerful movement. Let me tell you where the word came from. It comes from the word reboot, rebooting both the idea of Shabbat as a holiday and rebooting ourselves personally. I think we all need a reboot and we should have that luxury. So the verb to shaboot, which will soon be very popular, I see it growing like as this presentation goes on, because I hated it the first time I said it, and now I kind of love it. So to shaboot is to experience the essence of Shabbat, which is to reflect, to relax, and to do that on your own terms, however you want, with whoever you want. There are no rules, as long as you are subscribing to the basic belief of relaxing and reflecting. That could be alone, it could be with a partner, it could be a stranger. You could do it in a shower, you could do it on a yoga mat, on a beach, with your kids. Whatever allows you to reflect and just be mindful in your activity. We believe that is the new Shabbat experience, so that is the Shaboot. Okay, I skipped. So no, I went back now. I know I skipped.
Right, so elevate.
All right, here we go. Okay, so how does one Shaboot? I hope you give us an extra 30 seconds for the technical malfunction. We believe this app can have 4 levels of engagement, from the low end to the high end. Making it easy, we believe that people can connect, engage, activate, and inspire. The first one will be to connect to disconnect. It could be as simple as pressing a button within the app to say that you are now shabooting. And when you're shabooting, it alerts you to how many people are shabooting in your community. So it could say, Amy is now shabooting with 10,000 other people in the Mile End. And that instant approval to your community as you disconnect to unwind and do whatever it is you do. Okay, here's our flashiest half of the presentation, so I hope you enjoy it. This is our Shaboot button. So if you look over here, this is how it looks when you're not plugged into the community. This is our symbol when you are now in Shabooting mode, you are connected to the community as a whole, and you are now in that mode where you are in reflection mode. So there's a certain accountability and tangibility to that. It's visual. You know that this is now your time to do whatever it is you do. Okay, the second one being to engage. We believe there should be a Shaboot stream within the app where people are invited to upload and share pictures and videos and content of them Shabooting. By doing that, you can inspire other people to find new ways to Shaboot, and that just taps into the community aspect of it. We also want to bring Shaboot into the real world. We don't want this to live online. We want this to leverage online in order to create real-world connections and real-world community. So let's say you're Shabooting and you want to open that up. You can make that a public Shaboot, and then people can see how close that is to them, and they can join you in a real-world Shabooting experience. You can Shaboot together. Moving on to the last one to be, we want to inspire. This is part of the next level development of the app. We're still exploring the semantics of it, but we would love to create more accountability to it, earn badges for different types of Shabooting. Maybe you did an active Shaboot, a wellness Shaboot, child Shaboot, just different ways of Shabooting. Gamify it, make it this fun community thing. There could be the top Shaboots of the week. It's an ongoing thing, it's an ongoing movement, And that's kind of the next level of it. So who can Shaboot? It is open to anybody who likes to relax. So I don't know if anybody who likes to relax. I guess this is a failed project to begin with. But it's open to everybody, and we encourage you to hack Shabbat. That's essentially what it is. Open source it, make it your own, and in doing that, you are identifying to a part of Judaism that you are truly proud of and truly proud to share with others. So that is it. I'm skipping this because I don't know what it said, and Shabbat Shalom.
So you hung in with the technical difficulties. Good job. Judges.
I think it's really interesting because it's really simple what you're pitching, and I think it's really important that you're redefining a really old tradition with something current. Like I think our generation likes to do that kind of thing, to modernize it and make it our own. So I think it's a really good idea.
Thank you.
Really love that you're tapping into your, and I think that with the social role that is comment and a question. I do have a question for you.
Sure.
So if you didn't love the name, are there roads not taken with names that you consider?
I love the name. I think it's great. That's me, though.
No, I think it actually, and I think if you attach a name to it, like this is Amy's Shaboot, this is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Shaboot, he's Shabooting right now, it just becomes kind of this exciting thing, so.
You also get to become a Shabooter, and I think that's a wonderful word. I love being a Shabooter. I plan on Shabooting maybe after this pitch.
You also get
You're Shabooting right now?
So in the interest of time, thank you, Shaboot. Thank you, Shaboot. So we're at number 6 coming up. Wonderful people. Alex Fredo, Tamara Kramer, of Jew Journeys.
Okay. Wow, I am irrationally confident right now. Strange. I was like, but I was not comfortable until 5 minutes ago. I don't know what happened. We told them 2 journeys, and they EW journeys, adventures. No, I'm kidding. But so I'm gonna start with a little story. It's about matzo balls. So I'm on the corner of Green Avenue and Sherbrooke. I'm on the 11th floor in a charming small living room, and I'm slurping chicken broth, and I just want more and more of these matzo balls that my grandmother's made. And I'm downing. They're just going in full, and I start choking. And I'm choking and choking, and obviously this is a ridiculous situation, but I'm with my family, and it's memorable, it's funny, it's kind of sad, it's embarrassing, but when I look back at Jewish moments, it's there. So if I was to ask you all in this room to think up of a matzo ball story, I'm quite confident that you can come up with a plethora of funny, sad, and diverse stories. And the idea is essentially that stories are fun. And I think also, I know that process of going back into your memories would be pleasurable. It'd be active. Young people today are disconnected while being ultra connected. This is a world that is incredibly stimulating. I also am taking this calculated risk and not even going into the slides because they're not good to begin with. So bland slides, forget the bland slides. They just did that. There's less and less influence by traditional communities because there's so much stimulation out there and we're connecting with so many things, we're citizens of the world. But if community is important, and it is, and I think it's created with stories, then we have to celebrate the story. And we need to emphasize the Jewish stories that we live day to day. And those Jewish stories and moments are small, they're big, and they're not always there. But when they are there, we want to find them, and we want to celebrate them. And those stories could be a variety of things. Maybe it's a moment where you start thinking about God. Maybe it's a moment where you are having your smoked meat sandwich. Maybe it's my mom's, moment, and I'm remembering it. Jew Journeys will facilitate this process. It's an application. It's a tool. It's an interactive live mapping device where users or anonymous posters will be able to share and upload stories on a Montreal map, a physical Montreal map that is both metaphorical, time-based, physically based, and they will be doing this on a pin, like on Google Maps. So you have a pin, and that pin is actually opens up into a window, which is your folder of information. And in that folder is, the place on the map, so the location, the profile of the person if he has one, or anonymous if he doesn't, and a section for content, for stories. Now, I use the word stories kind of literally, because stories here does not only have to be text. A picture is a story. It evokes. A soundscape is a story. A video is a story. A mix of the two creates other stories. So on this map, the variety of stories that exist on it and that mingle and weave with each other are creating new stories. It's like putting one image with another side by side. I'm not going to use an example. Too much time, that's not important. So there's different ways of expressing those stories. Now, there's a number of ways that this application works and is interactive. As people are posting these things live, this is a live map, right? You can go in one day and the next there's going to be new experiences posted. People will also be able to create experience playlists. So you'll be able to list in an order things that you've discovered, stories that you've discovered, and thus forming another story. And the idea behind this is that we have a meta-narrative right now in this community that is too centralized. And by putting in the narrative, what does that mean? Half a minute. Okay, so where am I? Okay, so by posting these stories, you'll be able to interact, create new stories, and develop a new social narrative of this whole community, but coming from the ground up, coming from individuals. This is the tool that will allow you to talk about when you were eating out at the event at Nunash, deciding to do mensch, becoming a child again at Jew camp, meeting new people at Nudge, living Shabbat in new ways at Shavuot. Blah, blah, blah. Jew Journeys will bridge the divide between tangible physical world and digital world. It will create a dialogue between our lives and our dreams, and it'll be interactive in such a way that you're creating not only a story with real stories, but really creating a community and a communal, again, narrative that is diverse, inclusive, and open. And also, to a certain extent, it allows anonymous participation in that it's a safe space. You on your journeys can be Hasidic or you can be secular, and you can be speaking about things that you might not necessarily be comfortable with one-on-one. You can be engaging in dialogue. And in these boxes, you'll have comment section. You can keep the conversation private. You can make it public. It's a tool that you keep in your pocket because it's an application, so it's always there with you. It's a story creator. It's a tool for you to return to your memories. And I'm going to kind of stop now because I'm sure that I'm way over limit, and the questions that will follow will be able to sort of define some of the aspects of this project. And really, there's way too much project to go on about the various possibilities, because this is an amazing project that this tool can offer in the community.
So, I mean, judges, yeah. Sorry, I'm going to say something after.
So what did you guys think?
I guess what I would say is that I think it's a very big idea, sharing stories. So I would love to hear a lot more about how that is going to go viral, or sort of create a community of people when, like, how do you add on to the narrative when it's somebody's specific story?
So the idea is that there's a map, like map. Like, let's say I'm walking down the street and I have an experience, whether it's specifically Jewish or not, but it means something to me and it happened in a certain location. I pin it there, and then I can add an anecdote about what happened, and then other people can read that. Then they can eventually create a playlist. And an idea that we had that somebody suggested to us was that just like you can create playlists with music, you can create playlists with a tour of the city through people's stories. So you can come to Montreal, a young Jew visiting, or you can be a young Jew from Montreal and you can be like, I would like to discover this city in a different way. Instead of going to a museum tour, I'm going to go and find out about different spots in the city, different weird food experiences, different spiritual experiences by following this app with my phone. And so we can create tours like that, and we can get cool people like popular musicians or cool DJs who can lead a tour that people can go on together to start spreading the word about it and connecting with like tourism Montreal, so that when people come in, they have this as an option of a way of getting to know the story of Jewish Montreal today.
So, just sorry, in the interest of time, we will have a
long answer?
No, not you.
Or
The
just
whole
re-pitching
thing.
it?
No, we're just so. Actually, I would no one's interested. What I would actually like to do is to call something out. I like to name things when they happen. This was a 3-day process where a lot of people came together who may or may not have known each other, who had different spaces that they were coming to. We asked them to take a risk with us. So first of all, the process is the most important thing. It's the risk that we all took here. The idea is huge, and it's actually, it's hard to tell in a pitch when some people have presentation prowess, some people have graphic prowess. Other people are great. Time? I love this thing. No, and so I would, I would like to bring context to the thing. It's the process and the ideas that have been put here, and these, and the risk that has been taken. So thank you very much for taking the risk, and we would like to move forward to the next thing.
You don't get to answer her question.
We don't get to answer more questions. It's true. And afterwards, we're having a cocktail with poutine and beaver tails and pizza and open bar. And we would like you to go and talk to all these people. You can stay as long as you like or not stay at all. It's up to you. Now welcoming up our
Market Coach. Market Coach engages millennial Jews with accessible and meaningful kosher. Aged 13 to 32, this network-enabled generation makes up the largest part of our society. Among us, the data shows that it's kind and smart that are the coolest things to be. And creating and sharing meaningful experiences is the coolest thing to do. Kosh embodies these millennial values. A Jew who observes the laws of kashrut cannot eat a meal without being reminded of the fact that he is a Jew. And that's from a rabbi. And this is what we're working with right here. We believe that kosher is a powerful means to express Jewish identity, building community through ritual. Currently, only 20% of Jews keep kosher, meaning a large majority of Jews are alienated by a practice that could unite them. We feel that we can go back to the text and translate kosher values to contemporary practice. Eco-kosher initiatives already exist. Rabbi Morris Allen has begun a new law of kashrut that involves sustainability. But instead of making kosher more complicated and more difficult,
We're trying to foreground the sustainable as the main emphasis of this new kind of kosh. However, instead of just sticking to the sustainable, we're also pushing with this new trend that we've already seen tonight of the foodie culture. So, sourced with care. So not only does food need to be locally produced, sustainably produced to make it kosher, but it also needs to be made with love. So let me tell you what happened to us on Sunday night. Noah Burnham from Mile End in Delhi, in Brooklyn, presented us with some seriously kosher food. He spent 3 days at his parents' house in Dallas, preparing beautiful produce, turning it into a magical meal. Despite our decision this weekend to curtail tweeting and Facebooking, we lifted the moratorium so we could tell all of our friends what was going on. We tweeted it, Instagrammed it, posted on Facebook, pinned it to our interests. What Noah had made us was the most Jewish meal we had had in a very long time. So our interpersonal experience was so powerful and communal that we could not help ourselves. Many of us felt that this was the most Jewish we had been in a long while. Needless to say, we wanted more of this. To that effect, we've developed a campaign hosted on Tumblr called Market Kosh. It draws from market cuisine culture to valorize food that matters. Imagine a community of Jews eating locally and beautifully, sharing their experiences with each other through social media and aggregated through Tumblr. Unified by a simple hashtag, Kosh. Eating farmers market food your bubby cooked, Market Kosh. Eating sustainable restaurant by a phenomenal chef, Market Kosh. This crowdsourced curation then makes these locations known on our aggregated Tumblr. To kick this campaign off, we've asked 4 Montreal chefs to cook for 200 young smartphone-enabled Jews. Now, of this list, we've already gotten 2 to sign on. It was a little early. We're sorry. This groundbreaking cuisine is flavorful, beautiful, careful, and ultimately sacred. This pilot launch can not only be replicated in other cities, but repeated and scaled. We imagine a tradition of this over and over every year, reinvigorating Jews with a taste for food that matters. So the Jewish tradition understands Jewishness as something that you're born with, but a Jewish community can only exist through actions. And so by enabling all these young Jews to start acting kosher on a daily basis, but not kosher, kosh, right? They can re-identify and rebuild their identities as Jewish. So, to summarize, Market Kosh is an initiative to allow Jews to express their Jewish identity by returning to the core values of kashrut. We propose that the concept of clean for the millennial is not to do with hooves and scales, but with smart and kind food. Leveraging the power of social media and foodie culture, Market Kosh can unite previously alienated Jews and rebuild Jewish identity. Thank you.
Thank you. Judges, questions, comments?
I think it's a really, really great idea because, I don't know, for me, I'm very conscious about eating healthy and eating clean, and, eating local is so important right now, so I think it's really, really inspiring, and it kind of reminds me of Oyster Week a bit. Like, if you did something like that to bring everybody together to make an event in Montreal, I think that's really interesting.
We were so
I like what Megan said before, which was to sort of take something that is so Jewish and so, known by everybody, and to really modernize it for obviously collaboration is not possible.
Their coach.
For a particular community of people. And I think there's obviously a collaboration with Unosh that's possible. I think there are two huge ideas that can be melded together, and I think that
kosher can mean anything, like this guy's not kosher, or this. So there is a kind of positivism about that word. So in what you're translating into the modernized food and all that, I think it's a great
market coach. So, two more. Let's call on the next group, which is the Myth Incubator. So I'd like to, sorry, Amber Burson, Gina Moretsky, and Zem Moses.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for still being awake. We'll attempt to present together, not at the same time, but yeah. So, my name is Gina. These are my teammates, Zev and Amber, and we're going to present the Myth Incubator. And our tagline is, if you can't imagine the better picture, there won't be one. Yeah. So we were asked to be here to build a new tool that engages millennial Jews. So immediately we check in with ourselves and we realize that we are the target audience. Exactly. So the last couple of days we've been hearing that the young Jewish adults in Montreal, they don't feel very accepted by the community, they feel judged by the community, and often feel that Jewish organizations are not open to alternative ways of being Jewish. So this deeply resonated within our group, and we would like to put forward a platform which challenges young adults, Jews and non-Jews, to collectively imagine an inclusive, Jewish positive reality.
So the Myth Incubator is a user-generated myth-making and storytelling project which aims to collectively author this new Jewish positive reality by prompting the user to craft a new myth about Jews in Montreal. Participants are invited to co-create a fantastical story that fits their vision of this community.
So a myth is a story that explains how the world came to be in its present form. And the Myth Incubator is going to build on the proof of research that we create and share myths to understand our own world. When we tell new stories, we often use this model. And ultimately, this is a vicious cycle for us as a Jewish community because it prevents us from imagining real change. We believe that through art and storytelling, we can build a community, and that this community will author the new myth required for the change.
Yeah, so the project uses the popular game called Exquisite Corpse. I'm sure a lot of people know it. We're going to provide an opening line to begin the story, and then the first participant is going to continue the story, create a hook line, and then pass it on to the next participant. The main rule is that the participants are unaware of what the authors have written until the story is finished. So the goal is to co-write a story that includes multiple perspectives on Jewish identity. And our group is suggesting that in allowing the user to author their own version of inclusive, positive Judaism, they will naturally engage and feel included. In playing the game ourselves, we have seen the results firsthand.
So the project's going to exist on Facebook as an app, and it's also going to be hosted on the Interactive Museum of Jewish Montreal's website. We believe that Myth Incubator is feasible and sustainable, and we're developing a game that builds on user-generated content and which becomes more amazing the more that people play it. So it's easily shareable, it promotes exchanges via existing networks, And it builds on the knowledge that millennials play more games online than ever before, and that they're looking for quick, engaging, multiplayer experiences that work on the web and on their phone, even if we don't have a phone.
Oh. Sorry. Once you play Myth Incubator, your finished story is shared, but you will also receive an update every time someone else adds a piece of the story. The final story is posted on your wall, on the Facebook application wall, as well as Tumblr and the IMJM website. And it's marketed through online promo videos on YouTube that are targeted to Jewish young adults and their friends.
And the project aims to engage thousands of young Jewish, Montreal-based adults, but it really starts small with a handful of engaged participants and use one-on-one community organizing models to create connection, to select connectors who will spread the word and champion the project.
And playing Myth Incubator empowers Jewish millennials to collaborate on a story about their lives and to virtually connect with new allies to actually build it. In order to promote prolonged engagement beyond the initial aha moment, the project can lead to an online space for discussion, as well as a series of live events throughout the year that bring the creators together to read, to mash up, and to hack the stories with new audiences.
So Myth Incubator is not just an app, it's art, and we believe that art can radically change the way people change their perspectives. It's about the content we create in the community that we form. It's entertaining, and it allows us to positively impact the future of Jewish. It provides space to imagine any story which speaks to any of us. Myth Incubator is a pilot project that can be replicated and scaled up. It provides a space to question Jewish myths anywhere, but it starts right here in Montreal by combating the myths we live with and building the future we desire.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
I have a question. Did you guys see anything of this?
Has anybody heard of Cressy? Yeah, so I'm going to just do a tiny shout out. Gina is one of the 4 people who invented Cressy.
So I loved it. It's so beautiful and kind of mind-blowing. When I play Exquisite Corpses, I usually have little markers from the picture before so I know where to start. How much guidance do you get? Do you get some,
You
zero?
get one line. And actually what we have is a template, a beta version that's on paper that we can after other. So we'll circulate that after, but you'll have one line of the previous person's story.
I guess my 2 comments are, one is I really feel that storytelling is a big idea. So I think that creating content is something that we all like to do, and if it's in a fun atmosphere, a fun game, I think it has great potential as well.
Thank you.
That's good. Oh.
I have one more question. I'm sorry. In that it is in an online and social world, what's the Montreal? What is the fence around Montreal? How can why not? Why can't I play when I'm in New York?
Well, I think the first question may be, the whole for our playing is going to be Montreal Jewish related. And we can launch it here and pilot it here and do types of community organizing to get certain connectors in the community to really start playing it. But it's easily spreadable, like really easily spreadable. You just have to change the question. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dan. So you have all the pitch. Saperstein and Naomi Kinkler and Jacob Schwartz, and the project is called currently Yeah Jews.
They asked me for money one more time.
I didn't do jazz.
Everyone already knew you enough.
mother's not Jewish. I have nothing to say to these people.
There's going to be lots of parties there.
It's anti-Israel. It's anti-Semitic. Why do they have to be so cheap?
Who doesn't order enough food?
Masorti.
They always yell their boyfriends at him.
He's so short. Why do they always have to start on?
Party.
At least stay away.
Israeli. They asking for money. What?
Sound familiar, anyone?
Fuck yeah!
That's right, people I know. Really, all Jews love to fetch, and fetching is the highest form of engagement, right? You know, what we want to do is we want to leverage this Jewish tradition of humor,